since it springs out from a person's memory, and they are constructed, created, authored by people. And therefore, essentially, these works present that what is brought to us by the Upanishad, and hence even these works also serve as a pramanam. So now, in the list of smritis, the topic of Jivanmukti has been shown to us through one of the smritis of Bhagavan Vyasa, through the Vasishtha Ramayanam, and now we are on Bhagavad Gita, where the idea of Jivanmukti is reflected in the words of Shri Krishna Bhagavan under the topic of Sthita Prajna Lakshanam. So now Arjuna's question is regarding how is this person of enlightenment known by other people? Tasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya Keshava. Keshava is epithet of Shri Krishna. Samadhisthasya. So, and this verse is going to present us Arjuna's question regarding who is that person who can be considered as Jivanmukta, meaning Sthita Prajna. In Arjuna's words, it is Sthita Prajna. And we have seen this particular verse last time. The first half of the verse is the question concerning the person who is absorbed in samadhi, and the same person, when in transactions with the world, also is going to be just as anybody of us. Yet, what is it that marks him different so that we can recognize him? Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya Keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim. So when this question is asked, a reply is given by Shri Krishna. Shri Bhagavan uvacha prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manorathan atmanyevatmana tushtaha sthita prajnastadocyate. In the first sign of recognizing, now there is no need for all of us to take a lens and go about identifying which of these people is Sthita Prajna or not, because this is not, that we have been given a litmus test in our hand and then we go about testing everyone around, whether he's enlightened or not, whether that person is Sthita Prajna or not. But over here, Shankaracharya writes in his commentary that these verses or this section of Bhagavad Gita becomes the guidelines for the seekers to enhance their sadhana, their own spiritual practice by the way of following the footsteps, or by the way of following these lakshanas, these signs, these indications of a Jivanmukta. So in a way, they are meant for one to introspect and discover that how I can make my spiritual journey more intense. So, though he has not said it directly, that this is not something that we have to use about going about identifying people. ये कोई कसौटी नहीं है. This is not some criteria against which now you have to test other people. But it is more beneficial for a seeker to discover where he needs to progress in what way. So this is very, very enlightening for everyone. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. Hey Partha, Partha is in vocative case, O Partha. And Partha being Arjuna's epithet. Over here, Partha is son of Pritha. So people were known by, Arjuna is addressed over here as Pritha's son, or Kunti, whose one of her names, maiden name was Pritha, and so son of Pritha, Partha, a very courageous woman with great fortitude to withstand all the calamities of life. And so Arjuna, no, you are the son of such a mother. So you also definitely carry that strength to withstand that kind of fortitude, that kind of tenacity to face the rough weather. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. When a person gives up all the desires rising in the mind, obviously desires are going to rise in the mind. But then we have to understand this verse because a commentary is also provided by Vidyaranya Swami to this verse so that we are able to understand it better. So when a person gives up all the desires which rise in the mind, giving up desire is not like something that one can lift up a laddu from a box and give it up. So what does it mean by giving up of desires? But we will see this issue. But over here, when a person gives up all the desires which rise in the mind, Atmani eva atmana tushtaha, and then this person discovers his satisfaction, discovers his contentment in himself. He does not require any other source for his contentment, for his satisfaction, for his joy. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha, by himself, just by his being. He doesn't even require any kind of consolation that he has to provide. When people face problems or they have certain calamities, then generally people resort to some sort of mental consolation, like, well, whatever is happening for my good, and whatever is coming my way cannot come without God's will, so on and so forth. We have certain psychological, what do they call, reinforcement. He doesn't require. Atmaneva atmana tushtaha, just by his own being. He is santushta. Santushta meaning he is satisfied, content, happy, full up to the brim. Okay? Sthita prajnas tadochyate. This is the first lakshana as Shri Krishna begins his discourse about who is a Sthita prajna, meaning who is a Jivanmukta, that he is content, is satisfied. Now, Vidyaranya Swami explains, Prajahati, Jahati means gives up, relinquishes. Now this giving up, which also means renounces, relinquishes, could have been said only by saying Jahati, gives up. But there is a what do they call, a pra, which is the word pra is used as a prefix, and that pra means prakarshena jahati, gives it up with intensity, means completely, gives it up completely. What does he give up completely? Kamaha, desires. And this word kama is very, very interesting, because it not only means desires, it also means objects of desire. Kama, both. The word kama means desires as well as the object of desire. So now he gives it up completely. Really speaking, one lesson that we can draw from these first half of the verse is that the person's joy is not dependent on anything. Not on any compliments, not on any approval, not on achievements, getting something, not even on memory. Nothing. The joy, his own peace, joy, happiness, is so independent that there is no need of any external factor. Even his own mental cognition, it is just by being what one truly is. Means in recognizing that Atma, that after this recognition that Atma is Brahman, and that is what is the meaning of this word I. Now, everything else, even when the body also could be in, in a deteriorated condition and can be even further deteriorating, yet the joy and peace remains untainted. His contentment remains untarnished. Before we go into the commentary, now that since the topic has risen, I remember, this is not something that I'm talking, an example that I'm drawing from, Puranas or anything. Just a few years ago, right here in Rishikesh, we had this Mahatma in Kailas Ashram, Chote Maharaj. And then there was, because he was aging and there was diabetes and, it perhaps had got ignored. So there was gangrene which got set in his foot. It is an extremely painful condition, and if not treated, it becomes dangerous, not only for the person who has gangrene, but also there is a chance of infection outside. So that needs to be, that limb of the body has to be amputated. So the devotees, etc., who loved this master so much, they insisted and they pleaded that, he undergoes that particular surgery to ampute the leg, the foot. And with so much of pleadings, Maharaj agreed, and he said that, well, if you want to do it, do it. Just under one condition, that I will not be sedated through any anesthesia, will not be sedated. And the doctor said that we need to ampute the limb, that part of the body where it's like cutting with a saw into the bone. Can you imagine how painful it would be? And But finally, even some doctors did dare and said that we may do it, but at your own risk. And Maharajji was sitting over there as they amputated, even without him getting sedated. Just as they started the surgery, he started chanting the mantras of the Upanishad. And when the surgery was completely done, they said, Maharaj ji, ho gaya. Acha ho gaya, theek hai. Now look at that. The condition of the body also may be so bad with pain or any disease, yet it is not able to affect the joy and the peace of the person. This is one sure sign. This is the first sign, indication of asthita prajna. Now let us look at the commentary. Over here, prajahati yada kaman. So he uses the word kam when a person gives up kam. Let's understand how Vidyaranya explains this. Kamas trividhaha. When we say the word kama, these are of three kinds. Trividhaha. Bahya, antara, vasana matra rupascha. So now he says, bahya means kama. Those are obviously these are objects now, that which are external, antara, which are internal, and those kamas which are just vasana matra rupa, in form of certain samskaras, in form of certain subconscious, unconscious impressions, which force us to act in a way or emote in a way, respond in a way that we do. Then that is called as vasana. So vasana matra rupascha. Upajita modakadayo bahyaha. That what can be acquired, for example, a laddu, modaka, or things like that. He uses a very simple example so that it becomes acceptable and is understood. So modakadaya, so in which you can include everything. Like anything that getting which any object, whether it is name or fame or a position, or even wealth and stri, putra, etc., all can be included. Bahyaha. Uparjitaha means uparjita modakadayo bahyaha. That what can be acquired. And therefore that is external. Bahyaha, the first type. The second type is antaraha, asha modakadayaha. We don't daydream. Oh, well, if I get so much money, what will I do? Oh, I will do such great job. And so just by having those kind of, thoughts also delights a person. Asha modakadaya. These modakas are made only of asha, hopes. So having that hope also delights a person. Well, I may get some more money, I may get this, I may get that, and that delights him. So asha modakadayaha antaraha. Pathi patita trinadi vad apatata pratita vasana rupascha. Then, as you so the second category is asha modakadaya antaraha. The third category, which is called as kama, he explains. Before he explains what it is, he gives you an example to understand that. As you may be walking somewhere, you happen to see the grass and the leaves which are scattered and fallen around or growing around. You do see, you register, this is grass, this is a shrub, this is a bush, this is a tree, so on and so forth. You register it, but nothing of this is able to hold you back. You see, and it goes into back of your mind without much importance. So you see them, you feel them, yet it does not carry any significance. And so they are noticed, but they are insignificant. So patipatita trinadiva, like the trina, the straws of the grass or leaves which are fallen on the path, you notice them, but it doesn't keep your attention, it doesn't hold your attention, and that's why these like that. There may be several desires which may rise in your heart, in your bosom, but they do not carry any significance, and they are lost. Like that, you have these three types of kama: bahyaha, antaraha, and vasana rupaha. So now Shri Krishna says, gives up all desires. What does it mean by giving up all desires? Bahya kama, antarakamaha, and vasana matra rupaha, all these kamas are given up. He says, samahitaha asheshadhi vritti samkshayat sarvan parityajati. How is it possible that he gives up everything? Does he have to think, oh, what is this wealth of no use? What is the... No. Over here, in this case, we should remember we are talking about that enlightened master who has discovered his completeness, for which he doesn't require any external support, and therefore, and he is absorbed, his mind is absorbed in samadhi. Samahitaha asheshadhi vritti samkshayat. Though the mind is there, but now that mind is not pulsating with innumerable thought patterns. Why? Because that mind has become satisfied, is completely pacified, is at calm, is still. Asheshadhi vritti samkshayat. There is a samshaya. Kshaya means gradually it goes on declining. The vritti is there, are not required. Mind is an instrument. It is an antakaranam. An instrument has to function when it is required to function. That is it. The function is now done. The knowledge has already taken place. And therefore, now what is the point of keeping the machinery on when it is not required? So samahitaha asheshadhi vritti samkshayat sarvan parityajati. This is the reason why now all those kamas can be given up. Because for every desire, any desire, small, big, bahya, antara, or even vasana matra, for any kind of desire, what do we require? A thought, a cognition is required. And for the thought patterns to be formed, we require mind which is pulsating. But this mind now is absorbed and is at peace, is calm, is still, and therefore it is possible only for such a person to give up all the kamas. Sarvan parityajati. Asti chasya mukha prasada linga gamya santoshaha. And then the santosha. Santosha means the satisfaction, the joy, the peace also becomes evident. How? Through mukha prasada, through the radiance on the face. Mukha prasada linga gamyaha. It is an indication, it is a linga, that there is prasannata always, there is there is that joyful countenance. His disposition will always be of joy and peace. So, mukha prasada linga gamya santoshaha sachana kameshu kintu atmani eva. And this his joy, his peace is not because of any object, any person, any achievement, any state. Then what is it because of? Atmani eva, because of his own being. Atmani eva kamanam tyaktatvat buddhehe paramananda rupena atmatatvabhimukhatvacha. He says, now we have to understand how he doesn't require anything, and that's why the kamas are given up. And another thing is because now the knowledge also has taken place that this Atma alone is Ananda Roop, and that is what I am. So Ananda is not a state of mind which has to be generated either by getting some object from external sources or if by some state like, any state of trance or anything. Then Paramananda Rupena. Now this, where does our buddhi, where is our mind drawn to? People say that, oh, Swami, we are not able to keep our mind runs away all the time. But where is your mind running away? In search of joy. Why are you not able to keep your mind in your work where your hands are where you're supposed to keep the mind? Because the mind says, not here. The joy is somewhere else. And that's why it will soon run into some object, some other place, in some other frame of time, only in search of happiness. When that happiness is infinite happiness, that one is discovered to be the self, where would that mind now go? Because it is not the fault of the mind that the mind goes in search of happiness. When happiness is seen, known as this Atma, now obviously the mind also becomes absorbed over there. Atma tattva abhimukhatvacha. This is the way the mind constantly remains facing the self and doesn't want to look at anything other than the self. Because that whatever is other is not even Sukharupa, it is not even Satya, it is Mithya, and therefore why would the mind of such an enlightened one go anywhere else other than the self? Nachatra samprajnata samadhyau iva atmanando manovrutyollikhyate. Now he makes it even more clear. This is not like the joy experienced in the samprajnata samadhi. It is samadhi, but where there is still a mental construct, that is called as samadhi, samprajnata samadhi. It is not even like that. So it is not because, he likes to go into some bhava samadhi, some sort of a trance. Samprajnata samadhi iva na Atmanando manovritya ulha. This Atmananda is not manovritti. Kintu swaprakasha chidrupena atmana. So atmana eva santushtaha. It is because he shines in his own light. He is not shining, he is not even bathing in the light of some samadhi, the joy of some samadhi, or because of any state, any mental state, or because of any object, any achievement. No, nothing. It is just by his own being, his own presence. Swaprakasha chidrupena atmana santoshascha navritti rupaha kintu tat samskara rupaha evam vidhaihi lakshanavachakaihi shabdaihi samahito bhashyate. And over here, therefore, The samahita, the one who is absorbed in samadhi, is thus defined by others like this. Evam with lakshanavachakaihi shabdaihi. Words like this or sentences like this, whether they are in the Shruti or Smriti, or it could be the sentences from any Laukika person, the Sthita Prajna is thus defined by others. Okay? Right? He is very satisfied. I remember when I used to serve Tambe Swamiji, I have told this on several occasions even before. At night, in the evening, from morning, I would come to Swamiji somewhere 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, and then be with Swamiji till evening. And then before I left Swamiji's room, I would just pull a blanket or some sheet over him and ask him to, because then I put his pillow under the head and ask him to go to sleep. Swamiji was very, very old by then. So at times I would feel that, let me press his legs or something, if there may be any pain or something. And he would say, no need to do all this. And before I left, every day, this was our standard conversation. I would ask Swamiji, do you want anything? Should I keep anything, do anything before I leave? And Swamiji's standard reply was, I need nothing. I'm very happy. Happy like I'm the emperor, I need nothing. Nothing. Evam, so there is Laukika Shabdas also like this, also define the Samahita, the one who is absorbed, collected, Samahita, Sthita Prajna. Now, furthermore, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Dukkeshva Nudvignamanaha Sukheshu. Huh? There was okay. Dukkeshvanudvignamanaha Sukheshu vigataspruhaha Vitaragabhayakrodhaha Sthitadhirmuniruchyate. Dukkeshvanudvignamanaha Sukheshu vigataspruhaha Vitaragabhayakrodhaha Sthitadhirmuniruchyate. Dukkheshu anudvignamanaha. When there are situations of distress and situations of sorrow, he does not become disturbed. Anudvignamanaha. And what about when the situations are conducive and the situations are happy situations, like Happy New Year, Happy Diwali, Happy Birthday? No. Sukheshu vigataspruhaha. And he is even free from desire for those occasions and those times, happy times, that it should continue or those happy times should return back. Spruha is not there, that it should continue or it should come back, or it should happen like this and then will I be happy. Spruha, sukheshu, spruha means, the demand, the desire for it to continue. Vigata is gone. Vitaraga bhayakrodhaha. So also the rag means an intense liking for something. Rag. An intense liking. This is rag. Rag. Bhaya. Bhaya meaning the insecurities, the fear. Krodha, and even frustration, irritation, anger. is all gone. Such a muni, such a person who is contemplative person is called as sthitadhi. He is called as sthita prajna. Vidyaranya Swami says, Dukkham ragadi nimitta janya rajoguna vikara rupa santapatmika pratikula chitta vrittihi. You people can get these definitions of what is sukham, what is dukkham over here. What is called as dukkham? Ragadi nimitta, it is a chitta vritti. It is a cognition. Now, this cognition could be a thought, just a thought, or it could just be some sort of an emotion. Everything can be brought under this one word, chitta vritti, a cognition. But how is this chitta vritti pratikula? It is not conducive. It is not conducive. So one would want to step out of it. One would want it to be resolved. One would want it to be gone. It is pratikula, not conducive. In fact, like pratikula means something that is in opposition. Pratikula. Santapatmika. Why is it pratikula? Because it is kind of a torture. Tapa means to scorch. Santapa means samyak prakarena. It scorches, it is an infliction or an affliction. Santapatmika. It doesn't want that, and hence he doesn't want it. Santapatmika. What is its nature? Rajoguna vikara rupa. It is the modification of rajoguna. But why did it come? Ragadi nimitta janya. It could, just because I have lost money in the stock market, because somebody said something to me, because my girlfriend has not called me up for so many days. Oh no, that rag, not these are just external excuses. But the cause for it is ragadi nimitta janya, because basically there are these our what do they call it? Vasanas, which are called as the raga. Because of those, now, for example, at times people get angry. Oh, well, why can't you make this food like how normal food and good food? Why is it like? Because you already have a certain idea that this should be like that only. And now, because it is not, the food in the plate is not like what you expect it to be, and hence there is anger. So ragadi nimitta janya. Why if you were not to have any such ideas, would you be frustrated now, or would you be eating happily? Decide. Look at that. And so what is the nimitta? What is the cause? Raga, etc. Our own, what do they say? Preconceived notions. Ragadi nimitta janya rajoguna vikara rupa santapatmika pratikula chitta vrittihi is called as dukkham. This is dukkham. Now, tadrishe dukkhe prapte sati. Now, when such kind of dukkham situations, external situations of dukkham, etc. is okay. But now we are talking about his internal atmosphere. Tadrishe dukkhe prapte sati. And when such kind of dukkham is experienced, suffering is experienced by any person, how does he react to it? Either there is one kind of a person, because of him, because of her, because of that, and because if nothing else, then you can blame God, because God is playing games with me, so on and so forth. Taha dukhe prapte sati. And there are some people now who have understood the law of karma. What would such a person, also mature person, would say? Aham papaha dhikmam dhingmam duratmanam iti anutapatmika tamo guna vikaratvena bhranti rupa chitta vrittir udvegaha. So dukkham is one form of chitta vritti. Udvega is yet another form of chitta vritti. Udvega means that disturbance. And how is that disturbance? Aham papaha. Well, I only must have done something in my previous life or in this life for me to experience this dukkham. Dhingmam, fire upon me. Duratmanam, I really am a sinner. Iti anutapatmika, and this is in form of some regret. Because I did this, now I am suffering. Iti anutapatmika. It is in form of a regret. But what is it? This kind of a udvega? Anutapatmika. Tamo guna vikaratvena bhanti rupa. And because it is tamo guna rupa, it is actually nothing but bhranti. It is nothing but error, delusion. Bhranti rupa, this is this chitta vritti, this form of chitta vritti is called as udvega. So dukkha is one chitta vritti, udvega is another chitta vritti. So dukkha takes place, udvega will also come. So now, what is wrong in one taking the responsibility of one's own experiences on his own shoulders instead of blaming the world? Correct? Because this person now says that, well, I have nobody to blame. Whatever is the sukha dukkha that I am experiencing is obviously a result of my own actions. Whom should I blame and whom should I be angry at? So apparently, though this appears to be Viveka, some form of a mature discrimination, yet it is not really discrimination. It is Bhranti Rupa. Why? Tathapi Purvasmin Janmani che tat papa pravritti pratibandhakatvat saprayojano bhavati. Now that there is this form of regret is not really Viveka. Why is it not Viveka? Though the words and everything seems to be quite mature, why is it not Viveka? Because had it to be there before the action takes place, if I do this, it is wrong. If I do some papa, that papa will come back to me as suffering. If not now, later on in any life, anywhere, adharma will bring dukkham in its wake. And that if that was going to prevent you from taking the wrong course of action, then this kind of a thinking can be called as Viveka. But now sitting over here and lamenting over the spilt milk, it is no good. It is not going to reform, change, transform. It is only regret. Hi. But itna hi hoga aur kuch nahi hoga. Yadyapi ayam viveka eva abhati Tathapi purvasmin janmani chet, if in your earlier part of that life or earlier lives, if this was to be there, then it would have prevented you from taking the wrong course of action. And if this thinking prevents you from taking the wrong course of action, then it has a prayojan, then this has a purpose. Now, what purpose is this lamenting going to serve? What purpose would it serve? And therefore, tat papa pravritti pratibandhakatvat saprayojano bhavati idanintu nishprayojanaha. And now it is nishprayojana, purposeless. Just lamenting, which means you're wasting your life. Nishprayojanaha iti bhrantitvam drashtavyam, and hence this is a bhranti, just a delusion. And because it is a delusion, it is tamogunatmika. It is the tamoguna, and it is anutapa. What was the dukkha? Santapa. This is anutapa. Anutapa means which comes later on, follows. That affliction which follows, the suffering which follows, anutapatmika, tamo guna vikaratvena bhranti rupa, and therefore it is tasya bhrantitvam drashtavyam. This is how one must understand its bhranti. Such kind of dukkheshu anudvignamanaha remains undisturbed even when everything is running topsy-turvy. Even if there is some dukkham also, he does not get disturbed. That is one another next important lakshana of a sthita prajna, of the Jivanmukta. Bhagavan Shri Krishna he has said, Sukheshu vigataspruhaha vitaraga bhayakrodhaha. Such a muni meaning a contemplative person, mananat muni. Sthitadhihi iti uchyate. He is called as sthitadhi. We will see the commentary part of this particular shloka when we meet next. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shantihi. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Thank you all. Thank you very much.